Hey guys, today I want to talk about prismatic evolutions and I want to use Pokemon 151, the English version, kind of as a case study to, further my point because I got a lot wrong with 151. I learned a lot over the past year when it came to 151 and I think there's a lot of public sentiment with prismatic evolutions that kind of mirrors what I thought about 151 last year. And I think a lot of people are going to be sorely mistaken when it comes to their investing philosophy around prismatic evolutions. And I think a lot of, collectors and players and people that really are against investing into Pokemon, their current sentiment right now is just not super relevant. And I think it's getting weighed a bit heavier in some people's minds than it should. So with prismatic evolutions, right, there are lots of people that are upset that, I and other people are putting in big pre-orders with Walmart and these larger retail stores. Lots of the players and general collectors are upset that packs are going to be $20 out the gate. I mean, the set is insanely popular. There's lots of demand for it. Pokemon in general is just at probably an all-time high right now, and I think that even if a lot of this demand goes away, right, we're still going to have a very expensive box like the ETB, just the investment in general, like the booster bundles and stuff. You're still gonna have a good opportunity to make money if you're buying these at MSRP, even if demand wanes, right? Like when 151 came out in 2023 and throughout 2024, there was a lot of demand for this product, even though Pokemon was nowhere near what it is right now. So the 151 ETBs, and this is a lifetime ago, right? These are the Pokemon Center exclusive. So regular ETBs, for most of 2024, they were already above MSRP, and this is a product that had been out less than a year at this point, not even. So, buying these at $60, $70, like even throughout the summer, right? It was hard to find this product, the ETB specifically, on shelves at Walmart, at Target. Now, I know some people you were able to have success doing that. I think you could probably still find this product through third-party retailers for below MSRP, even in April, May, June, around that time. I'm trying to remember Hobbiesville exactly what they priced them at in Canadian, but around the summer, right? That's when most things crossed over MSRP, and that was less than a year after release in a market nowhere near the current bull market that we're in. Now, why is that relevant? Well, do you guys really think buying these ETBs at MSRP or even say MSRP is $60 USD, you really think buying these at $80 MSRP is going to be bad even in the short term, right? Like everyone's saying that Prismatic is going to get a massive reprint. I do think that there probably will end up being reprints and we'll see this product around for a long time. It could potentially, right, be like Crown Zenith, but it could also turn into something like 151. And people don't really realize how good of a run 151 has been on. Like this has silently just continued to creep. Like if you look at maybe started December, ETBs were $116, $117. They're now up into that 150 range, right? And they're climbing like every single day, tons and tons of sales. We did see some sales up into almost 180 range earlier yesterday. A couple cheaper ones today, which is kind of surprising, 130, 148 in that range. But it's averaging out and slowly moving up, right? So even if we see reprints of Prismatic, do we really think that it's going to be every single investment too? Because when you look at 151, right, the PCTBs have obviously crushed it. They're up 236% over the past 12 months, and they're now pushing $300. PCTBs in general are just insane right now. But even before a lot of that insanity started, the 151 ones were, exploding in price already. It was very difficult to find these at a decent price. The UPCs as well. I mean, these sat for a long time. You could have bought these under MSRP for a very, very long time. They have recently just exploded. But even before they exploded, right, if we go back 6 months and we look at the 1 year chart, like these moved from that $80 range up to around the 140 range. So even these almost doubled, right? We saw about 75, 80% returns on these within a year when it wasn't even in a bull market. And the booster bundles were really one of the only things that took a long time to start moving. If you extrapolate out back another, I guess extrapolate's not the right word, but if you go back in time another, say 6 months, and you looked at the 18-month graph of the booster bundles, they were quite flat for the longest time. when everything else like the UPCs, ETBs were going up, the booster bundles were not. And this was because there was so many restocks, right? And we saw this again. We saw a big spike in the booster bundles once everything else started taking off. But you can kind of see, and maybe if we do a 3-month chart, it will look better. You could see early December, these were around $60. They dipped down to around 50. And obviously there were lots of sales far below this point, because this kind of time period in here was when a lot of these were restocked on Walmart.ca, Walmart USA, Target, etc. But within a month, we've already seen these recover, right? Like that's how strong the bull market is right now. But the point I'm trying to make is that, there's a lot of things going in favor of Prismatic right now that people aren't fully understanding, I think. And I understand the fear of a massive reprint is relevant, right? Like it absolutely could happen, but is Pokemon going to reprint every single product? More than likely not. And based on history and recent history, ETBs are not getting, massive reprints. Like we didn't see 151 ETBs get a massive reprint. We saw restocks, sure, for a couple months, but not enough. And that's why these are already popping off into that 155 range. Same thing with Paldean Fates. We really didn't see a ton of ETBs. Those are already up to what, $80, $85 USD. So why do we expect that Prismatic Evolutions ETBs are suddenly just going to get a fat reprint, similar to what Crown Zenith received? And these are just going to be like $40, $50 again, one day. Like, sure, it could happen, right? In theory, it's possible. But, even when we think about that sort of situation happening, Prismatic Evolutions, and again, there are probably going to be some people that disagree with this, Prismatic Evolutions is a way better set than Crown Zenith. Like, it's not even comparable in my mind. The depth of Prismatic Evolutions, the evolutions in general, guys, like some of these cards are going to be very, very expensive. The Umbreon, the Espeon, the Sylveon, even the Leafeon, I think is going to have a lot of value. And then remember, all of these are going to have Master Ball reverse holos. That Umbreon, that Espeon, those Master Ball reverse holos are going to be insanely expensive cards as well. Outside of those, like sure, you might have some decent cards. And remember, like Jolteon, Glaceon, Vaporeon, Flareon, like those will have some decent value as well. Maybe the Iron Valiant, the Dragapult, the Eevee, the regular Eevee. Like some of these cards could have some decent value. I just think this set is going to be absolutely insane and stacked and could legitimately beat Evolving Skies in terms of overall set value. So a set like this, right, I don't think it's going to get that Crown Zenith effect where these ETBs just go from $70, $80 down to like $30, $35. Even comparatively, right? Like if these run up to $200 and we get a massive reprint, they're going to be what, $100 potentially? Like if they're less than that, is that really realistic to expect that? I don't know. And then one final thing I want to leave you with is Prismatic Evolutions is going to have a lot of different products, right? And I've said the ETBs for me are big. These that's the booster bundle, sorry. Surprise boxes, these I think could be actually really interesting, but I don't think a box like this is going to be the main focus for Pokemon when it comes to reprint, just because there's 4 packs inside, maybe. I'm trying to think. Like I imagine Pokemon, if they're going to reprint products, it's going to be the booster bundles. We saw that with 151. We've seen it with Paldean Fates. It's probably an easier product for them to make. It makes a lot of sense since there's not secondary items inside of the boxes, like in the ETBs, the dice and stuff like that. In the surprise box, the promo card and whatever else comes in it. It's probably just a lot easier to make the booster bundle. So the products like the surprise box, the ETB, obviously the PCTB that I didn't pull up, those are going to be much more protected when it comes to a downturn in price. And I think buying any of those at MSRP, if you're just sitting on them, right, you're going to do great. Short term, long term, reprint comes, demand goes, it doesn't matter. The set is too strong. It's too strong to fail, guys. And it's the same thing with 151, right? Like everyone returned to the hobby for 151. You had the Charizard, the Blastoise, Venusaur, original 3 evolutions, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Pikachu's in here, I believe, as well, and Charmander, Charmeleon. Like, they were all in here, right? Zapdos, great full art card. Alakazam, my favorite Pokemon. Everyone Everyone had something that they loved about 151. And you got to be delusional if you think that 151 even comes close to Prismatic as well. The evolutions, and yeah, I understand some of these are fan favorite Pokemon, guys. The depth of Prismatic is just going to, trounce 151. Like, it's not even going to be close. So thinking that 151, or excuse me, you thinking that Prismatic ETBs are just somehow going to, collapse in price, even if they go up to $200, thinking that these are going to somehow one day be $40, $50 and you're going to be able to find them at MSRP on shelves. I just don't think that's realistic. I could be wrong. Again, that's just my opinion, but I think buying the set at an MSRP is just such a no-brainer, and that the set is going to be one for the ages. So that's all I wanted to say in this video. 151, learn from it. Don't make the mistake I did with the set, missing it and thinking that all these reprints are going to bring prices down, because one, the reprints might not even come, and two, even if they do come, products like the ETBs or the UPCs, these special products that aren't just the booster bundles, are probably not going to see much of a hit anyway, or even get reprinted. So that's all I'm going to leave you with. Thank you so much for watching the video. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.